Welcome to the Au Jus. I'm your host, Beefloaf. This show is being sponsored by our friends Punky's Pizza and Pasta, located at 2600 South Wallace, my personal favorite eatery in the neighborhood. They have the best selections of pizzas and pastas, as well as sandwiches and salads of any spot in Bridgeport. Currently, they have what they're calling the Pizza Happy Hour, Mondays and Tuesdays only, between 4 p.m. and 9 p.m. You order a pizza from Punky's and you get 50% off. Yes, you heard that correctly. 50% off of pizzas ordered Mondays and Tuesdays between 4 p.m. and 9 p.m. How in the world can you get 50% off the best pizza in Bridgeport? The Pizza Happy Hour. Hit the website, punkyspizza.com, for all your carryout or delivery needs, or to cater your next party. You can also call 312-842-2100. The Scarlotta family will take care of you. Punky's Pizza and Pasta. The 108ers are hosting a live show Sunday, May 18th at noon. Sunday Fun Day, that's right. We'll be hosting a live podcast and road watch of White Sox vs. Cubs at Cork at the Park, 3259 South Princeton. Come out and join us. There'll be drinking food specials. We'll be giving away White Sox goodies. However, absolutely no fucking bingo. That's right. Sunday, May 18th at noon. Be there at Cork at the Park. We'll see you then. This show is also powered by you, loyal 108 supporter. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Feel free to tickle the undercarriage in the process. Like, comment, turn on notifications, and most definitely super chat, because that's how we get paid, and that's how we continue to make the content you know and love. Tonight's guest. She's a White Sox superfan who would not miss out on Sox Fest, addressing player vibes, or how Brian Ramos might happen to smell that day. She's White Sox Twitter's resident grade school teacher, Jacklyn Hilligoss. Welcome to the Au Jus.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. We bumped into each other at Sox Fest this year, known each other on the internets for a long time. That was the first time we really met in person. And I talking to Treasy is like, we got to get more real fans on this thing. Like I had a year or two where I was like, oh, let's try to get this media person, whatever. Fuck that. Let's get people who are at the ballpark, who are in on this shit like we are, and let's talk about some real shit here. So I'm happy that you were able to make some time for me, especially Teacher Appreciation Week.
Yeah, so I'm super excited. And when you said that we were going to talk player vibe, I was like, that's like right up my alley. So I was like, yep, I have to do this.
I love it. And let me give you a little background on this. Back in January 2023, this is an off season, I had the idea to write about player vibes. And the reaction to the article out on from the 108.com was, Beefloaf, you don't know shit about player vibes. Someone else should be doing this for you. So I never lost the idea. I always wanted to bring it back at some point. And then having met you, Jacklyn, and just knowing about you, I was like, Jacklyn's the perfect person to really set this up for me and talk through this. Because to me, I think this type of stuff is important, especially from our perspective, the fan rooting perspective. Yeah, we root for a player who's good or not playing as well, whatever. But the vibe does matter. When we're in those games, when the team's not very good and we're rooting the team to come back, wherever, these vibes matter to us. And so I think it's just an absolutely important topic for us to take on today.
Yeah, I'm super excited to talk about all of them. I kind of made some notes, and it was kind of hard for me to get it down, but I think I have good plans.
Beautiful. I want to start first with what I called in the article flavorless vibes. Now, take this however you want, but like I kind of thought, here's the people that aren't giving me much of a vibe at all, or the vibe is just not something I want to latch onto. Jacklyn, who on this squad has got the flavorless vibes for you right now?
Okay, so two people I picked. One is Jacob Amaya. I know nothing about him, literally nothing. I feel like I could tell you different things about each player. Him, know nothing about him, don't care. Every time he goes up to bat, I'm like, cool, this is the time to go get a new drink. And I just don't really have like anything much to say about him, to be honest. Like, I don't even honestly know where he came from, like what other teams he's played for. And I don't know if I think this second person is, I think people would pick this, but maybe surprising. So I went with Matt Theis.
Okay. Yeah. I think it's a good call, actually.
Yeah, I had asked a question earlier about what we were going to do, like when Corey Lee comes back. And a lot of people said, like, maybe Corey would be, going to Charlotte, or we would DFA Theis. I'm like, honestly, I really hope that happens. Like, I just don't care about him. Like, I'm like, yeah, like, I don't know anything about those two people. So that's why I picked them.
I mean, the Amaya call is such a good call because there's been so much consternation about him because he's hit so poorly, like a crazy bad hitter, a guy who they've been plugging in there just to play shortstop. But you're right. Amongst all that, I've not really heard anything about the guy's personality. I know nothing about the guy. And I know he bounced around a couple teams, but you're right. I have no idea what the last team he was even on was. He's just kind of like a beginning journeyman. And they cut him in the offseason, too. I think someone claimed him, and then that team cut him, and then we brought him back. He's just sort of like nondescript shortstop plug-in player that absolutely cannot hit. What a great call.
Yeah.
And you're right. He doesn't really do it. We know he can't hit, and then on defense, he's fine or whatever, but there's no signature there. There's no excitement. He doesn't have like a really good slide, stealing a base or something like that. Like it's a very bizarre to pick that up.
Like they say that he's on the team for his defense, which is fine. But even when he makes a good defensive play, like he doesn't look happy. He looked like he just wants to be somewhere else. So I just don't no flavor there. Nothing.
And Matt Dice is funny. Every once in a while I'll quote tweet the lineup for the day and say, here's a lineup explained. And when Matt Dice was in there the other day, I'm like, I have nothing to really say about this guy. And I'm looking at the picture of him, and he has quite a few pictures. They look all the same. And to me, Jacklyn, it looks like every single time a picture's taken on, he's trying to hold in a fart. I don't know what that says about him. That he looks so weird in the picture. But you're right. There's no flavor whatsoever.
Yeah, I get it. Maybe being on this team is not where the players want to be. I understand that, but like, just look like you care a little bit and look like you want to have some fun.
Yeah. You're just there, just present, just shut up for it. Everyone works with people like that. No, we're not gonna name names of anyone we work with. You've worked with people, everyone has, where they just show up, they're nondescript. When you go out for happy hour, they just sit in the corner and have a drink. They don't really engage or anything. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Great choices. I wouldn't have thought of these two guys off the top of my head, but they make absolute 100% sense. So we're off to a terrific start here. Now, my favorite set of vibes here, and I've told Mrs. Beef about this. Well, I grew up in Bridgeport back when it wasn't as nice a neighborhood as it is now. And I told her, I said, when I walk into a bar or something like that, I could tell what handful of guys I do not want to fuck with. And so for me, this is the tough guy vibes. These are the guys that, they might be nice and everything. They might be cool, but they got a certain toughness to them. Jacklyn, who on this squad has got the tough guy vibes for you?
All right. So I went with Miguel Vargas. I really feel like after that meme went around of him, last year getting traded to our team, I'm like, yeah, like he just gives that aura about him. Like I really just don't want to mess with him. Like I know that he gained all that muscle too, and I just feel like he probably could knock anyone out. So I went with him, and then I went with Sean Burke.
Yes.
I know that just sounds kind of weird too, because right off the bat, like tough guy, but like after the games and like hearing his interviews, he always like has stuff on his head and like is wearing his little like goatee or like goatee and just looks like he just don't mess with him. And like we saw him once working in a bullpen session before a game, and my sister was like, "Oh, Sean, can I talk to you afterwards?" And he was like, "No, I have to get back," And I just felt like that is tough guy. Like he was like, "I'm done. I'm here to do my job, and that's it."
That's right. Getting down to business completely. He's a big guy too, Sean Burke. If I remember correctly, he's pretty big dude. So like a big friendly dude. I get that with Burke completely. Just like he's a menacing presence, and like even when I didn't know a lot about him, they pitched him a little bit end of last year, and then him getting the opening day start to me is also like reinforcement of like he just must have some aura. He stood out above all the rest of these guys. It's like that's the guy we want to start opening day. Miguel Vargas, he's had a tough road. We know that. He went from the Dodgers. He was going to be riding to a World Series, gets traded here. You're right. He has that picture. I think it was in Oakland. The picture where he's just like sitting up against the dugout. It's like, this is the worst time of my life. You guys are all watching it unfold. And he was going through a terrible stint hitting. He's managed to bounce back. So maybe even if he doesn't have tough guy vibes, which it looks like he does, he's got the tough guy interior to battle back from all that stuff mentally. It's got to be brutal.
Yeah, and that's what I feel like. I feel like definitely – I feel like it wasn't easy. I feel like there's not many guys left, obviously, that we've got. It's like Luis and Andrew Vaughn, basically. Yeah. But I feel like Sox fans really, like, stuck it to Vargas. And so I feel like for him to just go out there every day, even when he was not playing well, I just feel like that is a tough guy.
That's a great call. And you're right. And they hammered him last year. And even in the offseason, where a lot of people calling for, no, he shouldn't even make the roster and all this stuff. And like now, he started a little slow, but man, he's hitting the hell out of the ball now. He's really bounced back. Apparently, some hitting adjustment. They just told him to lift his arms up. They said, lift those arms up, and then you can really hammer the ball. And he's been great lately. So I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to see him be able to tough it out through all that shit and get to this point.
Yeah. And I just feel like if I saw him down the street, I would be like, woo. I don't know. Like, he just gives me that vibe.
Now watch, you're going to meet him, and he's going to be the sweetest guy ever. But I can see what you're saying. I can see a little standoffish there. All right, let's get on to a vibe set that I caught a lot of heck for at my blog last year. These are nerd vibes, and I had some fan favorites in my nerd vibes when I did this before, Jacklyn. I had Lucas Giolito, I had Dylan Cease. To me, those are kind of nerdy guys. Even if they're handsome, I think they're nerdy. I'm interested to see who you're feeling on this squad has got the nerd vibes out of the crew.
Okay. So I will also say I do think Lucas Giolito gives off nerd vibes for sure. Cease, I don't know. I can't say that.
Sure. He's a little more of a hippie, not a nerd. I don't know.
I want to say it is tough for me to call any of them nerds because I somehow feel like they're going to hear me say that and think I'm rude to them. But you know what? There's reasons. So first, I picked Andrew Vaughn.
Okay.
I don't know. We met him a couple weeks ago, and we were very nice. We did not say anything mean to him. We're just like, we're rooting for you still. And like picture with him, like he wouldn't even smile. Like, I don't know. Like, why are you doing that? Like, I just feel like that is a nerd. I don't know. And then I didn't like how his walk-up song was the same walk-up song. I think he's changed it now. But like, why do you have the same song 2 years in a row? I don't like that.
Mix it up. Let's have some fun with this, man. We're being so vanilla.
Yes. And then the second person that I went with, and maybe this will cause problems too, because I don't know if this player really gives off vibes, but they do to me nerd vibes, is Jonathan Cannon.
Yes.
I weirded out, and I changed my answer after he had that mustache. And I'm like, why? I was so confused. Like, who is this? I was very confused. Like, and then he cut his hair, and I don't know. Like, he just gives off, like, wannabe vibes too, in a way. Like, I don't know. I think he just goes home and like probably plays video games, which is fine. He can do that, but nerd, that's where I went.
I love it. Jonathan Cannon, I absolutely fucking love. Mrs. Beef just met Jonathan Cannon. She was at the Sox Gala or whatever that was at the old post office. He was at the table with them. Said he's the sweetest guy, like country kid or whatever. But the conversations she was telling me about struck me as a bit of a nerd. So I think you're right. I think he does have nerd, even though he's tall and handsome. But you're right. He's got the goofy blonde mustache, which is usually a non-sale for most people. Like, I don't know. Very kind of nerdy, goofy looking guy. 6'6". So that fits too. Like 6'6", muscular and handsome, but kind of a dork. Just like a nerdy guy. I love it.
Yeah, I just felt like, because we went to the after party at the Sox Fest too, and like all the other players were talking, and he was like this kind of person that like stood in the background. Yeah. And like I tried to get like a conversation going, and I just felt like there was not anything.
Nothing there. And then Andrew Vaughn. Yeah, Andrew Vaughn is I've heard some whispers about it. He doesn't have a lot of personality, allegedly. And you found that out too, just trying to meet him and trying to be nice to him. Like, I understand if he reads anything, he's taking a beating right now because it's gone poorly for him. But yeah, I mean, little smile. I mean, the fans are what make the whole thing. Like that's how you get paid, pal. Like all of us watching these games.
If he doesn't want to talk to us, you didn't have to stop your car. Like just keep going.
Absolutely right. Okay, I can't disagree with that one. Let's move on. Now, these are going to be some fun ones here. The last couple. Yeah. I established this sort of cool vibes. Yeah. Just the players that you think are kind of cool. Jacklyn, who on the 2025 White Sox has the cool vibes for you?
Okay, so I picked 3 people in this category. It was very hard for me. There was 4 people originally, and I took down to 3. Okay. So the obvious first answer is Luis Robert Jr. Like, I just think he's so cool. Like, I don't know. Like, and I think that's even where it just came about where I just want him to do well. Like he steps up there, and I know like a lot of the time he'll strike out, and that's not that cool. But he just looks cool going up there. So I'm like, okay. And then I picked Shane Smith. Okay. I just feel like he must be really fun to hang out with. I don't know. I just feel like he goes in there, pitches, does his business. He doesn't really show too much emotion, but he will every once in a while. And so then I'm like, he gives up cool vibes to me. And then the last person I picked was David Spartan.
He's got the hair and everything.
Yes, his hair. And just like the vibe he gives off. He's just like always looks like he's having a good time in the dugout. Looks like he, I think he just became a dad recently in the off season. And I just feel like he kind of gives off that vibe. Like he just wants to be everybody's friend.
You know what he is? He's kind of the older kid because he's a little older than, he's not the same age as all the young guys. He's the older kid. He's like Matthew McConaughey in Days of Confused. He's the older kid basically out of the group hanging out there. So I totally get that one. And he has the hair, and he has like, he got interviewed, I think it was in Jeff Passan's article done last year, and he just sounded like a cool cat. Just like, Dad, we're losing our ass, but you know what? We all get along in here, and we'll keep fighting for each other and just do what we got to do. We don't know what we're doing. We're just newly in the majors, and like we're just trying to hang on to our careers and shit here. So I really like that one. Luis Robert Jr., I don't know why you think that, because Luis Robert Jr. is like a goddamn superhero out there, man. Out of all the players we've been watching over the last decade, 15 years plus, he's the only one out there. Like every day, he might do something absolutely incredible that you're just not expecting to see. Jumping over the wall to make a catch, just his speed all the way in the outfield, hitting for just prodigious power. And yes, there is downside. I hate watching him swing at sliders off the plate as much as you do, Jacklyn, but I agree with you. That is just there. Like like watching every day. I told Treezy when the new unis came out, the new City Connects that look like the Bulls and stuff. He didn't like the way they looked, and I said I immediately loved the way they looked, but I couldn't tell if it was just because Luis Robert Jr. is so fucking handsome that I like anything this man's wearing. Like,
no, I'm serious. Like I feel like there was a picture a couple of years ago, like from spring training, and him like wearing shorts. And I think I stared at the picture for like 30 minutes, no lie, because his leg muscles. I was like, oh my god, yeah. But like it didn't even concern him. He's just walking around, and I'm like, you just look like a god.
Absolutely. He's just roaming around like that. And what I've been loving about him this year, even through all the struggles and everything, he's running. He's stealing bases. So he's like, I'll contribute any way I can if I'm striking out. But if I get this walk, I'm going to steal some bases. And so, like, I still feel like even though he knows he's going to be traded soon, he knows he's on a bad team, he's still busting his ass out there too, which I appreciate. So I'm 100% with you there in cool vibes.
Yes.
And how could Shane Smith not be? Shane Smith was like not even a consideration a couple years ago. He was a minor league free agent that just picked off. He starts going well. The Brewers like, we got no room for you. Deuces, see you later. Sox pick him up, and everyone's I'm going to bring him out of the bullpen, whatever. No. He's a starter, and he not only is he a starter, he's the White Sox best fucking starter through the first month plus. He just it is like the coolest story that you could ever even imagine. So I just love seeing it happen to him. I love these picks. I think you nailed all three of the cool vibes ones, and in different ways. They're different types of cool, and that I think that makes it a good representation of the cool vibes there. Who would you cut? I want to hear who you cut. Who was the fourth?
Lenine Sosa. I think he's like a silent cool. Like I see, like I haven't really talked to him at all. Like I have gotten a couple of autographs of his, but I just think he's quiet. I think maybe a language barrier there a little bit. But this looks cool. I don't know. He wears like cool glasses. I feel like his fashion is cool, but he's very quiet. So that's why I dropped him.
Okay, but how much of it truly, Jacklyn, is all of a sudden this year he shows up caked up? Right. He is caked up now. I have pictures from him from a couple years ago. He did not have that going on. He didn't have that juicy double. He is fucking caked up now, man, out of nowhere. I don't know what he did. All right, let's move on to the final set of vibes here. These are elite vibes. So these are off the charts elite vibes. Jacklyn, who do you got for us in the elite vibes?
Okay, so I went off the trail a little bit because I feel like I wanted to put Luis in this category too, but I was like, no, he's more cool. Yep. So first I picked Caro. I feel like, oh my gosh, you came up and you're just honestly like, they were saying, I read an article about them, like not many people are talking about him, but he's doing so well. And I'm just like, I just think he is going to be elite. And I feel like he looks good. He looks comfortable, whatever they ask him to do. So I picked him. And this is kind of a ridiculous pick, but I had to pick it. So I went with a double people because of the friendship that they have.
Okay.
Corey Lee and Corey Jokes. Okay. They are elite because of their friendship. Like, I have talked to Corey Lee so much. Like, I see him all the time. And he always talks about Corey. They were living together. And I just feel like that's a funny story. And I just wish kind of that Corey Jokes was better so that they could just, hang out.
I'd love to have him back here. I'd love to see him in right field a little bit. And he's been hitting in Charlotte too. He's playing well in Charlotte, so that would be good. That would be cool there.
Yeah. And then you mentioned this a little bit earlier, and I know that he's not up here, but he's in Charlotte, so I picked Brian Ramos. I mean, he is elite just because he smells so good. I had to go back there. Like,
yes. I'm glad that came back up because this happened. We were at that event at the Field Museum, I think it was, and me and my peoples went upstairs and I took a picture from up high because the Brian Ramos line to meet him was absurd. It was just like all throughout the thing, and I'm like, it's gonna be impossible to meet him. And you replied this like, he smells so good right now.
Yeah, and because my dad was with me, and he's like, you literally went up to him and told him like, it smells so good. And I was like, I didn't care. I was like, it was true. He did.
It's a nice compliment. Cool kid too, because he learned English on his own. He kind of the guy's busted his ass to kind of get himself done. I hope he starts hitting a little bit more. I need him to hit because I love Brian Ramos. I want to have him up here. I share a last name with him, so me and Treasy say we're play cousins or primos with Brian Ramos. I need him up here, so
yes,
that'll be great.
I'm waiting.
I love the Carroll choice because he doesn't look bothered by anything. You mentioned how good he's playing, Jacklyn, but he'll be up in a big spot, RBI spot, all this stuff. Yeah. He looks cool as a cucumber up there, and then he delivers. It's just like impressive to see. He's 22 years old, and he looks like none of this stuff phases him. Major League Baseball, no big deal. I was dominate when I come up here. It's absolutely fun to watch right now.
Yeah, no, I agree. He just looks like it's another day for him every time he steps up.
Yeah, that's just I love it. I think he did a great job. When everyone on the internet's got a chance, we'd love to hear feedback from everyone else, but this is a terrific list in my personal opinion. Great job, Jacklyn. That was wonderful.
I would love to hear feedback too. I love talking about players, so anyone can, I'll talk your ear off about them.
Absolutely. All right, let's get into a couple other things. A few other things I want to get to while I've got you here. Number one, you've been posting a daily picture of Luis Robert Jr. and yourself in an attempt to get him out of his slump. How long have you been posting this, and what do the results look like so far, Jacklyn?
So I've been posting it for 11 days. I did get the idea because I had posted, asking the White Sox to give us details about Sox Fest, and that took only 4 days. So
I remember that, yes.
And so I honestly just thought it was funny, and I'm like, I just felt so bad watching him struggle, and I'm like, I have to do something. So 11 days, and I feel like he's been really good for 9 days. So I feel like it's worked.
I think it's working too. In fact, his hot streak almost completely mirrors the amount of time you've been doing this. I think he had one bad game at the beginning of it, but he's been super. He had one bad game in the middle here with the 4 strikeouts, but he's been elite otherwise, man. Defense, hitting home runs, stealing bases, just absolutely. I can't believe how good it is. Don't stop. Do not stop until he's been traded.
I'm not going to stop. I've got to figure out when I will stop. I mean, because eventually he'll be hitting 300. Okay, he's going to do it. But yeah, so I just felt like I hated seeing him struggle. So I'm like, I have to do something for him. So maybe he will see this one day.
He should be appreciative that you helped break him out of his slump. Now,
I think so too.
You mentioned you and your sister getting pictures with players, whatever. I've seen you post a lot of pictures with players over the years. Any interactions that have stood out for you, meeting players or whatever, anything that you can think of comes off the top of your head that just like, wow, that was an interesting meetup.
Yeah. So my favorite interaction, and it just is ongoing, is with Tanner Banks. Gosh, I love him. And I mean, that really came about randomly because obviously like they knew of his story because it took him so long about to get into, the majors and things like that. I don't think people knew a lot about him, and I didn't know anything about him. And so we ended up sitting next to his host family from the minors. And so they were talking to us, and he went and was talking to them too. So that's how we started talking to him. My husband is very outgoing, and so he didn't care. My husband's a Cubs fan, and he just went up to him and started talking to him. And so every game that we went to, Tanner was like, okay, I'll be looking for your green hat, because that's the hat that my husband wears. And so he every time would like wave, come over. And then last year I wore the Banking on Tanner shirt for opening day. And then when he came out, he was walking, first of all, so he wasn't even driving. And he was with his dad, and his dad he was like, I want to get a picture with you and Tanner. He's like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. So I was just really appreciative of all the time he took to talk to us. And I mean, even now, like when he got traded, we both messaged him and he replied. I just think that is so cool.
That is absolutely awesome. And guess what? Tanner Banks was also a really good reliever for the White Sox. I was sad to see him go just on his production. I was like, that guy, when he took the ball, I trusted him to get the outs. These other guys, I'm not sure about these goofs, I'm sad to see him go. That's amazing. That's awesome. Have you still stayed in touch a little bit at all, DM or email or something?
Yeah, so we went to the Cubs game when they played the Phillies to see him. That was like a 2-hour rain delay. And so we did try and stay after to talk to him. But they were getting on their bus, and he messaged my husband and said he was really sorry that he couldn't stop and talk. He's like, but when we play the White Sox, he's like, come and sit by the bullpen and you can heckle me all game.
I love it. I love hearing a great story like this about Tanner Banks. Absolutely amazing. Now, one last thing before I let you go, Jacklyn. I got to get your thoughts on a White Sox Twitter saga that's been ongoing lately. And this is us White Sox Twitter people are hot in these streets for a Tim Elko. Where do you side on the Tim Elko saga? Would you want him up here yesterday? Do you think he's got good vibes, cool vibes, anything like that? Like, what do you want to see with this?
Okay, so I do think he has cool vibes. I know I might get some hate for this. I'm not totally ready to give up on Andrew Vaughn all the way. But
fair enough.
I think Tim should come up and at least DH. Like, I don't understand why we're just letting him stay in Charlotte hitting the way he's been.
Yeah, absolutely. We can use the one thing this team needs, even when they play good, they don't got enough long ball. It's mostly just Luis hitting home runs and not enough from the rest of the guys. And so they could really use it. But I'm happy to hear in a way that you're like, you want to still wait and give Andrew a little more shot here, just a little more chance.
Yeah, I know that's not. I mean, I did put him in the nerd category, so I probably should just be done with that. But I'm like, one more month. Let's give him one more month.
I love that, Jacklyn. Thanks for sharing your thoughts on White Sox player vibes, your Twitter campaign to get Luis Robert Jr. back on track, and the Tim Elko saga. We ain't trying to be around the show. We're just trying to understand. Anything you want to plug before you go, Jacklyn?
No, I'm just happy to be here. Happy Cinco de Mayo to everybody. And thanks for having me on.
Thank you, and happy Teachers Appreciation Week.
Thank you.
Take care, Jacklyn. Good talking to you.
You too.
Bye-bye. That was Jacklyn Hilligoss. That was great. The vibes, much better than I could have done. I'm glad I did that in that direction. Next week's guest, I'm going to bring on a longtime guy, Matt Crawford. He's never appeared on this show. And we're going to talk about some ground rules of how you, as a White Sox fan, can go to Wrigley Field and be absolutely fine. He's a man who's been to Wrigley Field a lot. He even gets chimed in that he's a Cubs fan. He's not. He's still on our side. But we're going to go down that, especially because it's Cubs Sox week. We absolutely have to do it. I wanted to say thanks to Punky's Pizza and Pasta and all the 108 families up in the YouTube comments. Appreciate you smashing the like button, comments, and, of course, all those drinks and tips, although I don't think there were any tonight. Anyway, love you guys. See you, and we'll talk on Thursday for the 108 pod. Bye-bye.